Welcome back to Beyond the Pulse, your go-to podcast where education meets entertainment through the lens of sports science. My name is Siwan, and today we have a very special guest. It's special guest, special day because it's the last episode of season 1, episode 7, and we are very happy to be introducing Denis Odoi on our podcast today. Denis, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Dennis is a professional football player. He's been playing with a lot of matches, let's say. A lot of matches, a lot of competitions won, part of the FIFA World Cup as well, some time ago. So very happy to have you here. Dennis, if you can kick it off and just introduce yourself to everybody else here, that would be great.
Hello, guys. Thank you for the invitation. First off, honored to be here. Who am I? I'm Denis Odoi. My mother is Belgium. My father is Ghanaian. I was born and raised in Leuven, Belgium. I am a husband and a father of 4 kids. So I'm very loud in a dressing room, for example. Most people would describe me as a know-it-all. I try to be open to the different cultures, different people. And I'm also a football player. That's what I do. Who I am is those other things. And what I do is I play football. I've played for a lot of teams in Belgium, Leuven, OHL. My first team played for Sint-Truiden, Anderlecht, Lokeren, Bruges, and now playing for Antwerp. And then after Lokeren, I went to play in the UK for Fulham, where I played for just under 6 years. For Fulham. So that's who I am. Position a bit of everywhere. Right back, left back, center back. Then I came back to Belgium, playing defensive holding midfielder as well. So yeah, I'm a bit of a Swiss pocket knife these last few years.
Yeah, there's something with the fullbacks, right? I'm also a fullback, and for some reason they always end up putting us right wing, left wing. I always have that feeling that we go where we're needed, you know.
Right wing and left wing. I mean, I've played it before, but not as much. But
Center back.
yeah, center back. I just try to do my best, and sometimes when they put you in a certain position and you do well, then I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I've had it at most of the time I started as a right back, and then I went to Sint-Truiden. That was my first team in first division, and they had a pretty experienced right back, and then they put me on left back, and then I ended up playing 2 years almost everything as a left back. Then I went back to Anderlecht. They had a left back, so then I played there most of the time as a right back. Didn't always play. Then I went back to Lokeren, and the other coach was like, "We have a right back. I want you a left back." So I was like, "Okay." But then if you do well, you just stay there. And then in Fulham is when I started also playing center back.
Okay. Yeah, great. I remember when I also played in the academy back then. I used to be a right wing, and then I played one game right back because I was needed, and then I ended up playing the next 10 years as a right back. Because I was quite good and I really liked it, you know. So it's funny how circumstances go. But yeah, thanks, Dennis. You also you mentioned about your international career as well. Tell us a bit about this.
Obviously I was born and raised in Belgium, so played under 20s for Belgium. I changed a bit now with the ages. Under 20s, under 21s, or under 23s. Also played for Belgium, and then had a few selections for the first team of Belgium. Most of them I was in training camp, but then ended up being on the bench or just dropping out of the squads. Then I played one friendly game against Montenegro. I think I was 24 at that time. Those are these people that are very good with dates, like in 2017. I honestly have no idea. I know where I was playing. I was playing Anderlecht. I think I was about 24, 25, something like that. Played against Montenegro. Started as a right back. Second half played as a left back. Think I did pretty decent as well. It was like the friendlies after the season. And then after that year, next season, I was still in Anderlecht. Started really well the season, but then didn't get another call up for a long time. And then I was also like, people asked me like, "Oh, you don't want to play for Ghana?" And I think got interested in that. Then tried to get in touch with people from the Ghanaian Federation that I would love to play for them. I think when I was 20, I want to say on 26 or something. But then ended up not hearing anything about it. Also, it's always a bit difficult. Like, who should you contact? Some people say they have big influence when literally nobody knows them. And then I was playing in Fulham. Then I spoke to President Atsu, who unfortunately passed away. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I can put you in touch with my agent." Things went from there. Got a Ghanaian passport rather quickly. And there was always people from the federation reaching out like, "Oh, we want you to play." I was like, "Ah, fine. I'm good to go." Then ended up not hearing from them for another 6 months or a year or something. Then played another good game. And they're like, "Oh, we really want you to come. The president really wants you. The president from the federation really wants you to come play." I was like, "Ah, I'm good." But then obviously because I played for Belgium, that they asked the FIFA Belgium to release me. Said like they were okay with me not playing for Belgium anymore. I hadn't played for Belgium then already for 5-6 years, so didn't really matter. And then in 2020, I ended up playing my first games for Ghana. I had actually forgotten about it, and I was like, it's never gonna happen anymore. I wasn't really like on my mind anymore. And then I got a text message from the coach saying, "Hey, Dennis, this is Otto Addo, the coach from Ghana. The federation told me that your papers are like 95% sorted. So if they are sorted, I would really want you to come and play the qualification games for the Qatar World Cup against Nigeria, because they were like the last the final games, the playoff for qualification for World Cup." I said, "Yeah, I would love to come." It was a big surprise for me, and then ended up going.
Very nice. You went from no selection to going to the World Cup. That's
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. It happened all pretty quickly as well, because obviously the games I had to play was straight away playoff, a final phase at home against Nigeria, and then Nigeria away, and then we were qualified for the World Cup. So very big games, very important.
Yeah, and lovely, lovely, amazing to hear. That's great. Um, I'm interested about your journey to becoming a professional football player. How did you get into football? What age? How did it start? Did you have any influence from the family that they played football and you had to play football? It was like this for me at least. Everybody plays football at home. My father used to be also professional, and then boom, I got
No,
played football as well.
my father wasn't a professional football player. I think it's just yeah, a young kid. It's the main sport in Belgium, obviously in Africa as well. Yeah, I think just you just play football as a small kid. I think I went to play for Stade Leuven, which is like OHL is a mixture of two teams that they added. Like just started playing there when I was 5 years and a half or so, and then just start playing football. Why do you play football? Because you like it. You like it as a kid, and you just want to play. And then I played there. I think for 5 years or so. Yeah, 5 years more or less. I think at an earlier age, Anderlecht contacted me to come play for them. It was very difficult for me to get there with my parents working. So ended up not going straight away. I think the first time they asked me, I was 8 or 9 or something. And then I was playing with Dries Mertens. So he was both from Leuven. We were playing both at Stade Leuven. His father was my coach. And then he went to Anderlecht. And then the year after I followed, because that allowed me to 90%, 95% of the time just drive with him to go to Anderlecht, because to go from Leuven to Brussels, you have to go over the ring, and it's a big traffic. So, but then end up going because Dries went. So then it allowed me to also go and then stayed at the academy from Anderlecht from 10 till 15 years old or so. And then decided to change and go play for the academy from Genk, which was the best, or maybe one of the best Anderlecht also. A well-structured academy. Ended up going there. Played there for 2 years, and then after 2 years they cut me. They said like, this is where the story ends. I was 17, I think, or so. And then I just decided like I'm just gonna go back to Leuven, which was OHL. Now in that time the two teams, how you say it, came together. There's a fusion, and just ended up playing there. And then I think after 2 years, got my chance in the first team. Who they were playing second division by then. I'm just playing there for 2.5 years in the first team, and I went to Sint-Truiden and first division and so on.
Okay. Yeah, great. And during your youth, do you have like a story or like something you'll never forget, like a very good experience you remember from your youth playing football?
But as in academy football or just in general, I think like
Your youth.
shit, I just playing football with friends. But I was into a lot of sports. I also did like gymnastics a bit, trampoline, track and field. One of my teachers in primary school wanted me to go join a dance club. I was a bit of a class clown as well, so yeah. Also like at gatherings, I had to imitate Michael Jackson and things like that. I was that kid. I see a lot of my son in me there, and when he does it, I'll go like, oh my god, stop doing that. Be serious. And then I'm like, that's probably how I was as well. But yeah, also with the academy from Anderlecht, I had so many good memories. Playing big tournaments in France. We had at that time Danone Cup, which was played in Paris des Princes.
Yeah, nice.
So I think we lost the final to Boca Juniors. Then our captain Sven Kums, who also became professional football player, was like elected best player, got the trophy from Zidane. So that's like I think we were 12 years old or so. It was like crazy experiences. Brussels, take the TGV to Paris. We arrived there in the bus. They're all like this goodie bag from PSG with all stuff. Like 12-year-old. Oh my god!
Yeah, amazing.
And then in the hotel, you're like with teams like Real Madrid, Juventus, and everything. You feel like a
Nice.
star.
Yeah,
So
at 12, you're already cocky at this age.
so that's yeah. But I think if you get brought up in the academy from Anderlecht, you're cocky anyway,
Yeah.
because you're like often you are the best, and you're believed to you believe that they tell you to know that you're the best. It comes with a certain attitude, arrogance, but then if you end up winning most of the time, then yeah.
You just feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel it. Makes sense. Would you like your kids to be football players?
I want them to be happy, and if that's playing football. My oldest son plays football. He plays in Cercle Brugge, so which is like first division team, but yeah, they don't have to play football. It's like just enjoy the game. Everything you do, I want you to take it serious and give your 100% every time, but enjoy it. And I also know the road is so long.
Yeah.
And you can be good now, doesn't mean, or you can be even good at 12, 13 years old, doesn't mean anything. I was never the best in my team. Maybe in Stade Leuven, sometimes if I wasn't playing with Dries, because Dries would always be better than me. But yeah, it doesn't mean anything. It's just enjoy the road, enjoy playing sports, and then whatever comes will come. If he gets to be a professional football player, then yeah, I would be happy for him, at least if he's happy being a professional football player.
Yeah. But
that's it.
Nice. And do you remember out of your youth, is there something that when you think back now, you're like, yeah, I remember I faced this issue and I struggled a lot with it. Can you share with us like something like that?
Like I said, I wasn't the best player in my team. Far from. If you look better, I was surrounded by a lot of talent. I mean, I grew up with Dries, who obviously made the career that he's made. See the Dutch people know as well, but then he's the all-time top scorer from Napoli. I mean, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's more goals than Maradona, Hamsik for Napoli. So I grew up with him. There was nobody I've known longer for such a long time. I think until we were, I said 21, like I would see him like so often, or until he came to Holland to play at AGOVV. But then also Sven Kums, who I grew up with, who was like at the academy, like unbelievable. And then there's still other guys. Stay with the Four, also grew up with him. He ended up playing in Burnley as well, Premier League. And just other guys all became professional football players. So I was never the biggest talent, far from. And there's a lot of games that I was just sitting on the bench as well. Like, obviously, as a kid, you want to play football, and sitting on the bench is it's never a pleasant feeling. And sometimes as a kid, you wouldn't understand why the coach would not play you. And I think I was 13, 14, because I was always most time driving with Dries, and my parents weren't there. I had to like stand up for myself. So at the age of 13, 14, I think I went to the coach to talk to him, like, why am I not playing and things like that. But yeah, I would see a 13, 14-year-old kid going to a grown up asking for an explanation, like, why am I not playing? I think that's not an everyday thing. I think often parents who would do that or ask for an explanation. Okay, that's just the way it was. And yeah, I just remember the feeling of not playing, or like feeling like you're not good enough. I think everybody's been through that a little bit, but that's a feeling as a kid that you really don't like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then that's what probably made the difference for you, where you had to step up and
Yeah, you cannot say that's what made the difference, but yeah, that's yeah, I guess that's shaped me as well in a certain way. I think that's also maybe why I'm very vocal as a person, and some people would call me a know-it-all, and I would also understand why, because I always want an explanation. But it maybe comes from when I was young, that I was the one who always had to speak for myself.
Yeah.
And like, when you learn it, you just keep speaking, asking why,
Yeah.
why this, why that. It's not like I'm questioning everything, but I want to know why. And if you give me even now, if you give me a good answer, then I will accept and respect that answer, and I will give you everything I got. But don't just like tell me something just to tell me something.
Yeah, yeah, okay, fair point. So in our last episode, we welcomed a very special guest as well. He was the head of performance of FC Utrecht in the Netherlands here, and he actually passed a question to the next guest.
Okay.
So you are the one today, and so
Happy there's no guest after me.
season 2.
Oh yeah.
There will be.
Okay, so I have to come up with a question as well.
You can, if you would like. So Reino asked, well, he was of course mentioned because he's talking to athletes on a day-to-day. He knows that there's a lot of pressure on athletes within themselves to perform,
Yeah.
but also from the outside world. And the question that he passed on to you was, how do you manage to maintain a healthy balance between your career and your personal life?
I think it comes with experience as well. I think it's it's not easy. I've struggled with it as well, because you're learning. So let's say I started playing first team football. I got into the first team, and I started playing everything straight away, and never went on the bench. Then I made my transfer to Sint-Truiden, first division. Also played straight away, played all the games for 2 years straight. And then I came to Anderlecht, which obviously the step is pretty big from Sint-Truiden, who just got promoted 2 years before. I played everything. We did really well in the first season, not so well in the not so well. We stayed in first division, stayed in first division the second year, but not as high as before. And then I made that step to the biggest team in Belgium at that time. Yeah, champions so many times. And then I ended up not playing straight away, or played very bad debut, got a red card after 35 minutes or something. End up not playing a lot, and I really struggled with it, and just took all the anger or frustrations that I had. I went home still frustrated. My girlfriend at the time, like, I was just annoyed all the time at home. Yeah, couldn't deal with it. Was very difficult for me to put that aside, because obviously that's also what I wanted. I wanted to be a player from Anderlecht. I wanted to play all the games. In the past, I had always played every game, so that was very hard to accept for me. But then, okay, learn a bit how to deal with the situation. Then after 2 years, I also decided like, okay, I want to just be playing every game. Went back to local, ended up playing everything again, and then I went to Fulham, where I didn't always play in the beginning, and then but then it was easier for me to not to accept, but to deal with it. It still wasn't easy, but I wasn't as frustrated as before, or yeah, managed to deal with it a little bit better. Try to, I guess, enjoy the things outside of football as well. I was living in London, tried to do things there. It was also very important for me to get to know people in London outside of football, because I like football. I know I love football, but there's also so much more outside of it. And then after a while, after the first season, I also made friends in coffee shops, because I'm a big coffee advocate, and then yeah, I just get to meet people from there, and it was the most diverse group of people. You had an old professor from 55, then you had some young guys my age, teacher, creative director, or architect, or builder. But we all came to this spot, which was a coffee shop, and also they sold vinyl records, and everybody enjoyed music and things like that. And obviously, there I wasn't forced to talk to people that I didn't like. If I talked to them, it's because I liked them and we got along. And then I just made friends there, and then you get this distraction from outside of football, and also just get to meet people which are like-minded, and that's very, very important, I think, as well. Or like, obviously, you're in a country with your friends or your family,
Yeah.
that you have a distraction from outside of football that can balance the challenges of top sport.
Yeah. Do you think it might be one issue of football players not to be able to split the world of football with their outside life?
I don't think it's football. I think it's probably
Probably life in general.
yeah, live and high performance in general. I'm sure there's directors or CEOs who also have very hard times shutting off from work when they get home. My brother-in-law is a CEO of a company, but when he gets home, you still have this flat thing, the laptop,
Yeah.
which you can easily open up. And I think it comes with high performance, or being very, very ambitious at the thing that you do.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important that you try to sometimes separate yourself from this, because it will probably also help you perform better than when you're at your job, because you'll be probably more efficient, because it hasn't drained you the whole time for 24/7.
Yeah.
If you manage to shut it off for when you get home another 10 to 12 hours, then the time that you have at work, hopefully you'll be more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. How many, Dennis, how many games have you logged in your entire career? Is it like 300 nearly, something like this?
No, I think I looked at it with, I didn't look at it. One of my teammates looked at it. I think it's 600 or something.
600.
But like I said, you have people with data that are very good. I have honestly no idea.
Okay.
I think we looked it up last year. It's gonna be something around it.
Okay. So across all, let's say 600, across all these 600
Yeah.
games, what's according to you, in your opinion, one micro habit that still buys you that extra 1% of performance each week?
Consistency, I think. I think what I've had is like the habit of every time doing the same warm up pre-game. I mean, there's a certain exercise that I always do before the game, and then depending if I have other issues, then I'll add some. But I've been doing these exercises since I was 18. I think when I was 18, 17, I'd like had how you say, pubalgie,
Yeah.
like abdominal issues.
Yeah.
And then I started doing exercise at the physio, and he always gave me this set of series I had to do before games, and I did them and it went away, and I just kept on doing them and I just kept it throughout my career, which is like, I don't know, almost first team football since I was 18, so that's 19 years now.
Yeah.
I've kept doing those, and also I train every day like it's my last training session. That comes down to train hard and also being 100% in duels to the, yeah, I mean, I think you can ask anybody. people also get annoyed with it because I don't hold back when it comes to contacts and,
Nice.
and duels. Yeah, but my teammates always like it because
You're not training.
yeah, no, also in training, yeah, exactly, because I just feel bad like if I wouldn't do it and then I play a bad game, I would be like, oh, because I didn't do it during the week. I want to be able to say I've given everything. I have like this tattoo also on my body, like it says, "Give it your all and don't look back." And it came from a period where I had a game with Anderlecht in the playoffs, and I had a red card and an own goal.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's difficult.
exactly, it's difficult. But the own goal was like the guy was going along to the goalkeeper. He was gonna have a shot, and I just tried to tap the ball, and I tapped the ball, and he went next to the goalkeeper, inside post and in.
Yeah.
I tried to prevent him from having a free shot, but and then the red card was striker went. I tried to get back. He cut in front of me. I touched him. But then I was like so down as well, and then I was just talking to somebody outside of football, and he was like, "Yeah, my grandmother always used to say like, do well and zien it om. It's like give it your all and don't look back. If you know you've done everything,
Yeah, then you have a.
then there's no sense in looking back."
Yeah.
And I try to always remind myself of that every time I step onto a pitch, or like just give it your all, and then if the result is bad, then that's what it is. But at least you cannot like tell yourself like, okay, but I know I was cutting corners today.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to prevent.
Okay, interesting. Can you walk me through your, let's say, 24-hour recovery from, let's say, from you play a game from the final whistle up until the day after when you have to train again? What's something that you care about? What's these? You mentioned the mobility part, so that's, I think, that very important. What's other thing you can talk about when it comes to recovery?
Yeah, but I think also it changes like where you are and
Yeah.
how old you are. Obviously, when you're younger, I don't really care. You just do like you're young. Okay, let's play another game.
Yeah.
Obviously, like in the UK, they would provide us with different things. You have like these cherry active drinks,
Yeah.
which would be good for recovery and also sleep. In Antwerp, we have these tonine
Yeah.
drinks. We also help with sleep. I don't always take them because I'm not a big fan of putting things in my body which are it's natural, but I prefer not. I don't drink Red Bull or things like that. I'm not gonna compare tonine to a Red Bull now or something. Not at all. But yeah, for me, it's very hard to sleep after a game. I know it's very important, but it's very hard because you're full of adrenaline. In the UK, we play at 3 o'clock, which is easier to have a good night's rest. Obviously, in Belgium, you play a lot of if you play on Saturday evening games.
Yeah.
So if you play at 9 o'clock or 8:30, and you finish at 10:30, 11, some of these guys won't sleep for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to sleep, but it's not easy. After the day after for me, very important is like now mobility. So the physios like just release my hips. That's for me where everything starts. Also before training, I release my hips, stretching. You get a good sweat on. Also after the game, I think it's important to eat well, or at least eat. It's better to eat bad than not to eat. So try to eat. And then it's for me it's like stretching, mobility, and also I get a good sweat. Before I would say running. Now sometimes with my older knees, bike is also good. And those are the main things. And then I think also after when you get home is try to relax and maybe switch off the mind a bit if it's possible. Obviously for me when I get home is those are distractions for me to not think about football.
Yeah. Very fair. And it can actually happen that, tell me if I'm right, that mental fatigue outpaces muscle fatigue or physical fatigue. In that case, what's your go-to cognitive deload to get ready for the next training again or the next game?
Yeah, I think obviously the like I said, the mental fatigue is a big thing. Probably outweighs the muscular fatigue, as you said, because with the amount of games, if you have a lot of games but you're in a winning flow, it's easier to play the next game
Yeah.
than when you're in a in a losing flow or it's a difficult phase for the team, then the next game it's gonna be like every time recharge, and then you have a bad result again. It's the down effect from that again, which is mentally very very draining. What I try to do is, obviously I have distractions from home. I've gotten better at it. Also, just I don't know, sometimes just try to switch off your mind by just watching, I don't know, something on Netflix or so. I also, yeah, but that's not really switching off because I also watch a lot of games from that we played. I try to watch our game that we've played, and then also if you have I try to watch one game or two games from the opponent as well, just to see what the habits are they have or where the weaknesses lie within in the team. But that's not really switching off. But then again, then preparing for the next game. But switching off as we probably be something with my kids. Enjoyed bringing them to school. If it's nice weather like now, bring them by bike, ride, coming back, going back home on the bicycle, listening to some music, some podcast. Just try to switch off from football.
Nice. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Thanks, Dennis. Of course, we love data, so we talk about data all the time. We had previous conversations to get about data, how you've been using data. You've seen also your coaches use data yourself, and with Antwerp now, uh, does your team talk to you about the data they gather about yourself, about your performance, or the team's performance in general?
They don't really talk about it, but after the game, they have a 1 or 2 days after the game, they have a sheet in the dressing room that outlines all the data from every player. We also have this app where you can look at all your data, which goes from game data, training data, also the bio data, so about your weight, fat percentage, these things about your blood results.
Yeah.
So you can access everything you want as a player if you're interested. They don't really talk about it, but if you ask questions, they'll happily explain it to you. I'm somebody who looks at it, who's interested. Also, sometimes to see if the data correlates with the feeling I have, or that my how I felt during the game. Or sometimes I feel like I feel like I didn't run as much, and then the data is still more or less the same as a game where I just felt like a normal game, but didn't have the feeling like I didn't run much. Also, there was a game in Sint-Truiden where I felt I didn't run much, and then it turned out the data was more or less the same as other games, but we played on an artificial pitch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's why the feeling was less heavy, because you're on artificial pitch, maybe a little bit lighter to run.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can. I mean, I'm interested in the data all the time. I always ask them to send it to me, so I will look at it. Look at the sprint distance, the high intensity distance, XLs, decels.
Yeah. What do you do? Do you do something with it after that?
No, I don't really do something with it. It's just more to see if it correlates with the feeling that I had. And yeah, like I said, it also depends on the way the game goes.
Yeah.
And then if you had good games, did I have a very high output? Obviously, for me also it depends on the position I'm playing.
Yeah.
If I'm playing as a holding midfielder, my total distance will be higher.
Yeah.
My high intensity will be pretty high, but my sprint distance won't be necessarily high. As a fullback, your sprint distance and high intensity will most of the time be a little bit higher, and maybe less total distance.
Yeah.
And I also just look at the data from the other guys, so I can tell them they didn't run any.
To do more.
Basically.
But would it be interesting actually for you to not like have some sort of a system that would tell you what you can do with this data when you're not at the club? That would be interesting for you. So maybe this data happened because of that, and this is what you can do to maybe improve next time. Would that be interesting for you to kind of bring data home in a way?
I probably could be interesting, but I'm just curious how this would look, because I mean, you need more sprint distance. I don't know. I know what to do. I know what to do. You just do. It's an accumulation of in training doing more. I want to say sprint repetition.
Yeah.
Be accustom your body to be able to deal with the sprints and the short recovery time. high intensity. I guess also that's what physical coaches do. It obviously would be interesting, but then again, you also have the tactical plan, and you're not one team. It's also another team playing.
Yeah.
If the other team is better, then maybe and you're defending more in front of your box, then you can tell me, yeah, you need to do this to be more high intensity and more sprint meters. But if I'm defending in my box all the time, it's gonna be hard.
Difficult to control.
I watched the Holland under 21s. They're playing the Euros right now.
Yeah.
I watched the game against Denmark, and they were talking about Rens is his name, the right back.
Yeah.
And he said that guy is not doing a lot of overlaps, but then they also said like maybe that's a tactical demand from the coach. So yeah, maybe I mean I could also often have more sprint meters or more high intensity meters, but then I'm not just gonna run for the sake of running. So I get a lot of high intensity or a lot of sprint meters. I might as well just go to track.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah. True. And I don't know if you've worked with coaches that are obsessed with data and coaches that are not probably looking at it that much. What's your opinion on this? And have you ever been in a case where you have disagreed with the team because they looked at data and they suggested something that you didn't agree with because you felt different?
I obviously I come from a time where GPS and those things were non-existent.
Yeah, probably or later in your career.
Yeah, it's there's just like Polar, so a heart rate monitor. That was about it. No GPS. And then obviously when I started going in Anderlecht, I think we had a chip in the jerseys, and then but they didn't really show us the data. And then obviously from when I went to Fulham, they had like data training with GPS every day, but it was didn't really. It was more something for the medical department or the performance department. And then after you got more interested in it, you looked at the outputs, also put the sheets on the dressing room. Some players are interested, some players are not. But then I've had other teams where they're very, especially the physical coach was very obsessed with data and outputs. And then sometimes he would just say like, okay, you still need to run 1 round or 2 rounds after training because you didn't reach your outputs. But then I was also like, but I mean, I've done the training session, or I or some other players. It's like, oh, you have to do 3 more laps. You are done, and you have to do 1 more lap. But like, if the one guy would run the lap at, let's say, 12 kilometers an hour, and the other one would run it at 8 kilometers an hour, it didn't really matter. You just need to do your lap.
Log that total distance.
Yeah, and then I'm like, for me, that's completely useless.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about the difference from 400 or 800 meters. Now if you say, okay, I need more high intensity from you for this training session, then okay, let's do some drills, some box to boxes to get that. I understand, but just to do an extra 400 meters and the speed doesn't really matter. That's pretty useless to me. And then again, I've had loads of talks with physical coaches because I often get along with them. But I have players, let's say Hans van Ack, for example, in Bruges.
Yeah.
Just technically so gifted. So much faster as the rest. In training, he doesn't need to run a lot to be the best or to make his team win. So his physical output often is low in training session. But he's also like, if you want me to run, then you need to make me do a drill. Make me do box to boxes. I don't know, some butterfly runs or something. But I'm not just gonna run in the exercise for the sake of running.
Yeah.
Because it makes no sense to me.
Do you think it's a problem in football that it's too data focused and it doesn't really?
I think it's like everything, like all of a sudden data became this thing. Then obviously more and more companies are coming and say we can collect this data, we can add this and this and this. And then it's about filtering, I guess, what you want as a club, as a team, as a coach, what you think is useful, beneficial, and which data is not. I think it's different for everybody. Obviously, like there's some teams that decide certain things, and then other clubs or teams will follow and look at it and try to copy it as well. But I think it's about staying true to yourself as a club or as a coach or as a physical performance coach. I don't know. I think sometimes it's too much, but it's up to everybody to decide for himself what is too much and what is not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And do you use data yourself as an athlete outside the club?
Uh, enjoy use data. Yeah, I mean, I use data in a sense like running. Obviously, you have like a Garmin watch. We had I used the
The wearables?
wearable,
The Whoop?
the Whoop. Oh my
Yes.
god, the Whoop for quite some time. But then again, it's collecting data. It's collecting data. You're looking at it, and it's like after
What am I doing?
1 year,
Yeah, kind
then what are you gonna do? It's about making your own conclusion about it. Try to see, okay, didn't have a good sleep, or I had less deep sleep, less REM sleep last night. What did I do the evening before? What did I eat? I don't drink alcohol, so I know alcohol has a big influence on the HRV for people.
Yeah.
But I don't drink alcohol, so then it's like, okay, why is my HRV now lower than it was the previous days? And try to make conclusions and then move on from that. But I can keep wearing the Whoop for another 2 years, but if I don't draw any conclusions from it, or then what? It's just collecting data for the sake of collecting data. It's like, okay, it's I mean, I find it very interesting, but at certain moments, like, how long do you want to keep collecting this data or seeing it? You need to also adjust and adapt your lifestyle, I guess, to it.
Yeah.
But that's up to everybody.
Yeah, maybe that's also what probably is lacking, especially for athletes that don't necessarily have the sports science, so data analysis background on what can I do with this data to recover better, for example, and more than just showing numbers, but what's next? What
Yeah,
to
exactly.
create,
I think if you are a professional athlete, you'll have people around you that you can help you with it. It's like, okay, my recovery hasn't been great for the last few days, and then talk to somebody in your environment that could probably help you, give you some pointers, and then if those help, then you take lessons out of this, and then you can go on and help recover better.
Yeah.
Then it's maybe art, because now you also have like people in business that use a Whoop or Oura-ring. The Oura-ring is also very big, and then talk to people that can help you. I also understand if you don't have the background, that these tools, these wearables, help you to paint a picture of how it looks like, and see what you can improve. I think for a lot of people, like, sleep will be a very big factor, but they don't know how certain things influence their sleep. Let's say, for example, alcohol and caffeine. And then you have these people that say like, okay, but I drink coffee and in the evening I still fall asleep.
Yeah.
So it's true, but your quality of sleep is less because of the caffeine or because of the alcohol. You're less in deep sleep or less in REM sleep. You still fall asleep, but the quality of your sleep is less. And then if they have an Oura ring or a Whoop that can show them this, then maybe they get convinced, because I think it's also very important for these people to like show the science to it, that there's science to it. And if a Whoop can show you on your phone red or yellow or whatever, then they'll probably be more inclined to believe it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm also quite interesting about the topic, not data anymore, but more the topic what happens as a player, well, as a human being, because you mentioned earlier that life outside the pitch is very important to be able to disconnect, recover, and train smarter. But the first point I want to talk about is, you said that you've worn two jerseys, right? Belgium and Ghana. Can you tell me how did this dual identity shaped your psychological toolkit to handle pressure, change, rejection?
Yeah, I think it's a very sensitive topic as well. I think in a lot of countries.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's also in Holland. You have I think I saw what's his name, Ihataren, someone who played for FRC, a big talent, who now decided to play for Morocco.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. Sorry. And in Belgium, we've also had one guy I played with last year in Bruges, Shams Talbi, who decided to play for Morocco. and then it's like, oh, but you're born and raised in Belgium. It's like you owe them to
Yeah.
play for them. I don't want to get political, but it's obviously easy to say this if you only have one citizenship. And then obviously on the other side, sometimes for me as well, I didn't live in Ghana, so then they're like, are you a real Ghanaian? So sometimes it feels like you're none of the two, or yeah, you belong everywhere and nowhere. So it's not always that easy, because obviously for me going to play for Ghana, I don't speak Twi because my father never taught me. But then it's like, oh, you don't speak Twi, it makes you feel less Ghanaian.
Yeah.
And it's like they look at you like it was my choice not to speak this language, whereas it was my father's choice to speak English with me and not speak Twi with me.
Yeah.
Probably because he didn't see the added value, or he saw like it's better if I speak English with him than I speak Twi with him.
Yeah.
But then, okay, obviously then there's like, oh, I didn't speak Twi, then you feel less Ghanaian.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then in Belgium it's like, ah, you play for Ghana, why don't you play for Belgium? Obviously I played for Belgium, and then they end up not making me play for, they chose not to select me. Maybe I wasn't good enough, that's all fine. And then I made a choice to, or I was able to play for Ghana, which is for me one of the best things that ever happened to me, because it also allowed me to discover more of Ghana through football, through the thing that I love. And I've had like some of the best memories in my football career, like the 2 games against Nigeria, going to a World Cup, playing at AFCON. Also, it's like added to my experience, and also the way I look at things. I think the pressure that comes with playing for an African country is of a different magnitude than playing for a European country. I think also like for South Americas as well, like the pressure that comes with playing for a country like that. It doesn't even have to be a big country, it's just different. The pressure that people have, family get from the outside world, knowing that somebody they know plays for that country or represents the country. Like if I were to play, let's say for example, a Dutch player plays bad, he'll get scrutiny himself, but his family will still be fine. People will tell him like, okay, he was shit, but that's about it. But like if let's say an African or South American player plays bad, he knows that he'll get shit, but he also feels bad because he knows that the things that his family has to do are going to be of a different magnitude, because people will wish bad upon you. And if you believe in the fact that people wish bad upon you, then it becomes very hard for you to tolerate. And then the fact that your family or friends suffer from the fact that you played a bad game puts so much more pressure on you to do well. I know my nephew or my cousin, like he's like, I'm always stressed when you play for Ghana, because I mean, always stressed. Yeah, he has a certain kind of pressure, because if I play bad, then it also reflects upon him. And it depends as a person who you are, but I know like I've seen players in Ghana that are such good players, but like especially at the World Cup it's still okay, but the AFCON it's different pressure, because AFCON for African countries is more important than the World Cup, because AFCON, like let's say 10 countries expect you to bring home the trophy. So Ghana, Nigeria, Morocco, Egypt, Algeria, Ivory Coast, then the hosting country, South Africa. All of these countries expect you to bring back the trophy. So there's so much more pressure. And then I see very good players who like have hard times playing well with this pressure.
Yeah. Have you felt that pressure yourself?
I've felt it, but it's still different for me, because like I said, I wasn't born and raised in Ghana, but there's obviously like you don't want to you don't want to mess up, you don't want to f up, so it's a different kind of pressure. Like when I remember when I came back to Bruges, and then after we were playoff 1, I was talking to Rafa Onyedika, he's Nigerian, and we're playing playoffs, and it was the importance games, and I looked at him and I said, Rafa, I said, this is not Africa, my friend. I said, this is not pressure. You know this. And he looked at me and he just laughed, because he knew what I was talking about. I was like, okay, if you lose a game, grab our bag, walk to the car. Some people will be angry. Nobody will do us anything. Your family in Nigeria will be fine. If you mess up or you play bad with Nigeria, or he knows like his family will endure some kind of pressure or suffering is a big word, or like people wish bad upon you, juju, voodoo, and if you believe in it, but the thing is, if you believe in it, then it's
If it's your culture.
exactly, and you don't want your family to suffer for bad performance that you did, or a loss that you were part of.
Yeah.
So that's
It's very difficult. But did it shape then your mentality when you went back to Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it? What was it like? Kind
It's
of
just
how you build that
you
adaptation to pressure and to stress, right?
yeah, exactly, and also you just know like it's all like I said, Rafa, if we lose, I mean, we want to win, and it's not like I'm accepting loss or anything, or I don't. It's like it's not like I'm saying, oh, we lost, it's all good.
Yeah.
But it's different, like, and also you learn how to just deal with things and look at everything from a bigger perspective, and like, okay, it's just like the way you cope with it is different. And like I said, I'm a bad loser. I hate losing more than I love winning, for sure. But like, yeah, it's shaped you, and I would think, I believe, for the better.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, this a very controversial topic, but really interesting that actually players can develop when they move from.
Yeah, but I think also it's probably also like a player that plays for, let's say, for example, for a mid-table team in Spain, and then goes to play on for Madrid. You will also see like it's a different kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And then it's like I said, the oldest thing from all of these things come with experience. You learn how to deal with it. The first time you're going through it, you think it's the worst thing ever. Then a few weeks later, you're still alive, you're still good, everybody's still fine. So the next time you come in a certain situation, you know it's not as bad as you first thought it would be, or it's like, okay, we'll just get through it, try to do my best. If the result ends up not being what I want it to be, or what we want it to be, life still goes on. The sun still rises the day after, and then, like I said, give it your all and don't look back.
Yeah.
If you know you've done everything for it, then always reflect about things, but also try to and also move on from these things.
Yeah. And looking at all these pressure moments, you've still probably a mental health go from good to bad. Is there one thing you recall that it's kind of it's what flips your mindset in the dressing room or outside that help you go from bad to good again?
Uh, yeah, I've had the I think maybe the most difficult moment mentally for me was when I was playing in Fulham, and our first year in the Premier League. I was so we got promoted the year before. I played as a center back, played most of it. Then we went to the Premier League, and I played quite a lot of games there, but we were losing, and we were like in a relegation battle. And I felt so responsible for it because I was playing most of the games, and like it just spiraled into this thing where in training session, every bad ball I gave, I was just like cursing at myself and being so angry with myself, and just going in this rabbit hole where you could also only see the bad things you were doing, and also making the bad things worse than they actually were.
Yeah.
Because we had or like, let's say, one of the assistant coaches who had left at the beginning of the season. So we got promoted, he left, and then he came back towards the end of the season, and he was like, Dennis, I want to talk to you as well. Dennis, it's not what's going on. It's like you're just like cursing the whole time, like being so negative. Whereas normally you're just a guy, if you lose a ball, your first thing is like reaction, get the ball back.
Yeah.
And so like now you lose the ball, and you're just like talking to yourself and losing 1-2 seconds because you're annoyed. And also it takes so much energy being angry.
Yeah.
And then that's the first time also, I think one of the first time I actually talked to my wife and like talked to her about football, whereas normally I don't do that because it's always been a thing for me. Also through the academy, I was always by myself, so I always had to deal with things by myself, arrange everything by myself. And then I was like, and then she was like, yeah, then you need to go talk to somebody. And then I ended up talking to somebody, and he helped me. Okay, he was working for a club, but yeah, he was just like always try to reset and everything. But then in the end, like I think I also talked to the coach, talking to me, said like, yeah, Dennis, I'm not going to play you. I feel like, and I was like, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Because I was just too, I was so, I wanted so bad for it to be good, and not for myself, because I think I still played good games. I also played bad games. Don't get me wrong, we were getting relegated, but I was just like, I felt so responsible for the situation we were in that I was like, yeah, this was eating away at me. I think also that's something I've learned. Also, there were games where I really wanted to do well, or I felt I needed to step up and help guys, and then you make it bigger than it is, whilst maybe first focus on your thing and the things you have to do, the tasks you have to do, and then try to build on that. With first for the how you say this, the base, and then build on that. And I was trying to build the top on a
On the base.
yeah, exactly, on
Yeah.
something I was not stable.
Now, did you make that? How did you make it better for yourself eventually?
By the season being over. No, and we're getting yeah, we got relegated. But then again, you learn from it.
Yeah.
I think now also, obviously, I would also say like talk to somebody. Last year for in Bruges, for example, was also not easy for me because the club decided to make other players play for business reasons. Obviously, I came to Bruges from Fulham, played everything the first 6 months. We was champion, and the year after we played Champions League, got through the group stages, played everything in the Champions League except for one game. And then didn't play for a while. Then in the playoffs played a little bit, and then the year after the club was like, okay, he's gonna play now. Whereas when I came, he was a left winger, and now all of a sudden he's a right back. But obviously there was some interest from other players, and he was young. And then instead our second option is another young guy. So he was like, Dennis, if you want to go, you can go. I was like, what do you mean? I came, I played so many games, and now you want me to leave? Or now it's like, okay, thank you for your service, but obviously there's no profit in me. I was 30, it's gonna turn 36. This is also, it's sports is also business, especially.
Yeah.
I mean, not especially, but football as well is business. This young guy you can sell for a lot of money, then the next young guy you develop sell for a lot of money. I'm just costing you money. So then I was having a very hard time to accept that, and then I talked to somebody in the team, and like two people really helped me just talk about things, and someone like just having fun with them and having fun with my teammates, because like I had like some of these guys are really friends of mine. And then I was also like, I just need to focus on having fun with them. And if this is my last year, because it was my last year of contract, at least enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what's going to come after, but at least enjoy that process. But the two guys, like team psychologists and our head of performance, like really helped me in during that season. Just so talking to people is definitely a big thing, because like the conversation you have with yourself is always worst case scenario.
Crazy how the line works.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. And I'm curious, Dennis, as you've experienced multiple phases in your career, um, going from international tournaments to playing with different clubs, has your idea or your concept of success shifted to the point where it is now?
Good question. I think it's different for everybody what success is.
Yeah, sure.
I think I don't know if the concept of success has changed for me. I think the concept of happiness has changed for me. But success, I don't know. I've been in a lot of winning teams, of won a lot of things. I've had positive seasons. I think with Anderlecht 2 times we were champion, 2 times champion with Bruges. I've got promoted with Fulham from the championship 3 times. I've won the cup with Lokeren. So that's often been something successful in that season, which made it like feel like a winning season. But yeah, prices. I don't know if prices are everything, because yeah, I've talked to with other guys about this. Like they said, like say for example in Fulham, like I'm much rather get promoted from the championship than be like a mid-table team in the Premier League and play there for 10 years. That's, for example, one guy plays in Belgium and has 6 titles with a team in Belgium. And then you have one guy who plays for, let's say, a team in the Premier League that's been there for a long time, Everton, and hasn't won any prizes. Does this guy from the Belgium league, is he more successful than for me? Not, because Everton, you're playing the Premier League and you're okay, you don't win any prizes, but you're playing on a higher level and you manage to play there year in, year out. So that's also being very successful for me, because you're playing the biggest league in the world and you're staying in the biggest league, which I know is not easy to stay in. And if you can play a lot of games, you imagine he plays 300 foreign games in the Premier League, then for me, this guy is very successful. And if this guy, one guy wins 3 titles in Belgium, it's very nice. But let's not pretend the Belgium league is as big as the Premier League. But maybe some people will look at these guys being more successful because he has more trophies than the other guy who has no trophies. But yeah, for me, it's about trying to perform on the highest. High performance is trying to be the best version of yourself, and I think trying to achieve the highest being able to play on the highest level, and Premier League there's nothing higher than that, I guess, in terms of leagues. So I think that's for me is just as successful as something else.
Interesting. But you did say that your concept of happiness has changed over your career. Okay.
Yeah, I think when you get older, like maybe also it's like playing for a big team and having a big contract. That's like in your mind, like okay, that's what happiness is supposed to look like. But I've played at big teams where I've won prizes, but maybe not played a lot of games. I've not played every game.
Yeah.
And then after played at a smaller team, I played every game, and that's probably I was probably more happy there than I was playing at a big team where I won more prizes, but felt less fulfilled, because I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do, which was compete in the weekends.
Yeah.
So in that sense, that's I think that's changed for me. Obviously, yeah, being financially stable is very good, but there's enough millionaires that are depressed. So
It's not gonna buy you happiness.
no, exactly.
Right. Yeah. So very interesting to see that. I mean, for sure, success is different for everybody, for all athletes, and probably definitely will change over the career. So you said what was big for you is your concept of happiness that has been switching over time. Would you say that football actually forged your life?
Did it what? Forged my life?
Yes.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's still like I said, I've been doing it since I'm 5.5 years old, and yeah, especially I think now when you get to close to retirement, obviously, then we talk about the transitioning athletes. You like realize it more and more that like football is the one constant factor in your life, or at least in my life. It's always been there. Loads of things have changed. I've had kids, I've gotten married, I've changed schools, I've changed clubs, but it's always been football has been the one thing that's always been there. And coming closer to retirement, it's no longer going to be the main thing in your life, and then you realize like, okay, you also have to think about who you are as a person, aside from the athlete you are. Like, who am I? That's I think a very important question. Obviously, I've been interested in this topic. I've doing this looking into this certificate with Hinsa Performance, it's called, and I've read books about it. Just reflect on these things and ask yourself these questions, so you think about it, because sometimes it's very simple questions, but if nobody asks those simple questions, you don't really reflect about it, and the answer constantly changes and evolves.
Yeah.
And then you realize that football is the one thing that's for you.
Yeah, it's very interesting you mentioned about getting close to your retirement, because it's actually the last topic that I want to touch upon. There's a lot of research on the pressure that athletes feel when they reach the end of their career on what's next, because at least we've spoken to a lot of athletes that are so connected to football that they're lost. What happens next? And they even start looking ahead 5 years before the end of their career, and what am I going to do next? And there's a lot of fear and pressure to overcome these challenges. And you mentioned for you, was it back when you were in Fulham, and you said earlier that when you saw you kind of started getting replaced by younger player, it was difficult for you to accept that. Was that the case?
Yeah, it was in Bruges, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
The problem was not I was getting played by younger players. It was the decision to no longer let me prove myself.
Yeah.
If I would no longer play because I play games, bad games, I would also have to be honest to myself that, okay, I didn't play well. That's why I'm not playing. But like, already putting me aside before I've played one game, that's what was frustrating for me. The reasons were what caused my frustration and anger. If I mean, I wouldn't have liked it that I wouldn't have played, but if I played bad game, I would just say like, okay, but you didn't play well. So you have to be honest with yourself, and it would still be hard to accept. The like was preseason, and it's just a decision that's made on not football. It's not football decisions, business decisions, and you don't allow me to even prove to your club that I still have added value.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the season, I still showed them that I had added value, and we still came champion. But that's what the frustrating part was for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's every football player probably will face that at some point.
Yeah.
How do you think ahead of time now? What's next for you?
It's that's a good question. It's obviously, I think last year I started like really getting into it also by talking to other people. Like you said, people are different. Everybody's different in that way. I know Moussa Dembele. Like I know him well, and he's a pretty laid back guy in this sense. Like he's moved abroad, and he's also like, then he's like, look, I'm not interested in still being relevant. Or also, Musa was never big into football. I mean, he loved football, but he's like, ask him something about football, and he would have no idea. So now he's just like living abroad, and he said like, I'm more interested in my personal development, in staying healthy, and that's what my focus is on, being with my kids. And he doesn't have the pressure to. Okay, obviously, he has the financial stability, but I'm sure there's people with the same financial stability as him, but they're like, okay, I need to be a sporting director, or I need to be successful in it, or I need to be a pundit. And he doesn't. He doesn't have that, but that's each to his own. It's just like, you need to think about what do you want in life. And often when you ask people like, oh, what's important for you, like family, health, all these things. And then if you look at their life they're leading, and it's like, they're working so hard, don't sleep enough, they don't have time to work out, don't see their families out. So there's a discrepancy in what they say they want, what's important to them, and in the way they act. And I've asked myself that person a lot, and I hope I can I can find something where I can still feel challenged and feel fulfilled. Something that gives me some meaning in life outside of football, or like just give me meaning in life outside of being a football player. But I think it's gonna be like I would say it's succeed and fail. Sometimes you're gonna fail and then you have to look for something else. It's like somebody I know said it's failing forward.
Yeah.
Even if it's didn't go your way, at least learn from it and then move on.
Yeah. And do you already know what is next for you? Do you have ideas?
No, yeah, I have ideas. Like I said, the performance side, high, like a performance coach is something that I might be interested in, not only from like within sports, but also like help guide or help guide like high performers. So, as I said, CEOs, directors of a company, I don't know, people who have their own business, or there's still a difference in people that work for a big corporate business or are independent, but help these people maybe reach that 1% every day and try to make them help them in their life to perform a little bit better.
Yeah. So you still want to stay in high performance.
Yeah, exactly. I think also that's because I've looked at the kind of player. I'm not the star of the team, never been. I've always been the guy that's tried to help the team and try to make the players around me better. And I think if I can be like a high performance coach, I want to do the same for other people. I want to help them be a better version of themselves. And hopefully I will find fulfillment in that as well. Next to the fact that's probably not like 25,000 or 30,000 people screaming. So that's because I mean, I can't say that's something I'm interested in, but maybe if I end up doing it, it's like, okay, this is not my cup of tea, and then I said, then I need to go on and try something else.
Interesting. And then if you would be looking now at a football player that is also reaching the stage you're in, maybe let's say 3-4 years earlier, what advice would you give them to handling that transition as smooth as possible?
I honestly, I don't know if I can give advice because I'm not retired yet. I don't want to
Sure.
I don't want to retire, and I also don't know if the thing that I'm doing is gonna be successful. I think it's to each their own. Maybe like have a think about it, reflect about it as well. Like ask yourself maybe like the simple questions, but it's sometimes not easier because it's like, okay, maybe this is something of interest, but then you also have to find the time to figure it out. And also only by doing it you will you will learn and you'll get to understand whether it's something that you like or you don't like. And if you have the time, that's always as a professional athlete not always as easy. Probably also speak to people that I mean been of have transitioned, I guess. Or not me. I mean I'm still in am I in transition? No, because I'm still a football player. It's just like, I don't know. It's just talking to people. I guess I've met this ex rugby player who played for Wales, played for a national team. I didn't know him, but we started talking, and then he said, and then I asked him questions about how it was as well, and he said like, obviously it was very hard for me. I lost myself. So then you learn from them, and I also said like, I didn't realize that like because of what I did. Obviously, he played for national team in Wales. I've met so many people in corporate business, or so many people that could help me with the thing that I maybe wanted to pursue. I think he has a construction company. Where he said I didn't realize like every time after a game I went into the room with all these sponsors and things, there's like loads of people that could help me and were also like interested in helping me.
Yeah.
So that's also something that I take away from it. Like if there's still a big network that you can contact for people that hopefully want to help you or can guide you.
Yeah. Probably talk about it. You also mentioned it in also the other problems you faced in your career. Communication with the right people was helpful for you. Maybe not necessarily to get advice, but just reflect on it from an outside perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah. Interesting. We can talk about this for so long. But we're almost getting into the end of the episode. But before that, we would love to play a game.
All right.
So it's basically a pop-up quiz.
Okay.
So you're gonna start with asking me 5 questions.
All right. I'm going to
Questions. Yeah, you can get already your questions. So the questions become harder and harder after each one. You will ask me the first five, and then our team in the background are gonna record the scores, and then my turn, and we see at the end who wins. And we would also encourage the audience to play at the same time and see as well who is gonna score the highest points. So
These are not easy questions.
no,
I mean, some I can. Some I were like, okay, yeah, yes, but some I'm like, what? Okay, I'll start first, I guess.
yes.
Question number one: which European club was the first to win the treble, domestic league, domestic cup, UEFA Champions League in a single season? A. Ajax. B. Manchester United. C. AC Milan. D. Bayern Munich.
Can you repeat one more time the responses?
The answer is A. Ajax. B. Manchester United. C. AC Milan. D. Bayern Munich.
I would go either Ajax or United, but I'll go for United.
Correct. In 98-99.
Nice.
2. Oh, very expensive, you know this. What is the maximum allowable height for standard football crossbar in a FIFA regulated match? A. 2.44 meters. B. 2.5. C. 2.38. D. 2.6. I mean, just pure guess, no? I mean,
Can you repeat the question?
what is the maximum allowable height for standard football crossbar in a proper regulated match?
Yeah, first option.
2.44?
Yeah.
Okay, it's correct.
Ooh.
So lucky. You have no idea what the answer was.
I don't know. I haven't.
Yeah, it was like,
Okay.
no, I know, but like, you didn't even know what A was. You just like A, I guess. In the 2004 Battle of Nuremberg at the World Cup, how many cards were shown in the total during Portugal versus the Netherlands? A. 12, B. 16, C. 20, D. 22.
But 22 is a lot, so I'm definitely not going for that. But I think I remember that you were.
Nuremberg, yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was quite a hectic one. 12,
No, it was C. 20.
20. That's a lot.
16 red cards. No, sorry, 16 yellow cards and 4 red cards. Okay, 4. Which nation has scored the most goals in a single FIFA World Cup tournament? A. Brazil. B. France. C. Germany. D. Argentina.
Brazil.
Wrong. C. Germany.
Germany.
18 goals scored in 7 games. 7 games, sorry. Which club did Clarence Seedorf win his first UEFA Champions League title with? A. AC Milan. B. Ajax. C. Real Madrid. D. Sampdoria.
Which player?
Clarence Seedorf.
Milan.
No, wrong. His first Champions League.
His first Champions League.
Yeah. It's wrong anyway, but where's Ajax? Was it Ajax?
Ajax.
Yeah, 94, 95.
It was Ajax.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 2 correct, 3 wrong.
Even the creator of this game can't find the responses.
Yeah, I would think like it was he started this Ajax from.
Yeah, that makes sense. Actually, I didn't think I was too focused on the difficulty.
You now have to beat 2 questions right. If you beat the 2 questions, you win the game. If not, we go into overtime.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Question number 1. You've played in England, but in which year was the Premier League officially founded? 1990, 1991, 1992, or 1993? So like you have 1 year gap in between.
It's 1991, 92, 93.
90, 91, 92, 93.
I swear I already had this answer this question before. But it's a guess. 92.
Yeah. Yes. The luck of the first 2 questions, huh?
We'll see.
Question 2. This one is what unique tactical system did Marcelo Bielsa popularize at Leeds United during the 2020 season?
Man-to-man coverage, probably man-on-man.
Oh, you have to at least let me. That's unfair. I will put the responses anyway. That's
Bielsa.
3-5-2. High block press, man-to-man zone hybrid, low block counter.
Man-to-man.
Yes, you were correct. Man-to-man.
Yeah, I
Okay.
played that team multiple times.
Makes sense. Makes sense. He has enough budget. That's right. All right. Question 3. Which player made the most appearances in UEFA club competition? Champions plus Europa plus Super Cup. Cristiano Ronaldo, Paolo Maldini, Iker Casillas, or Lionel Messi?
So the question is, who of those 4 has played the most games?
The most appearances in UEFA club competition. So Champions League, Europa League, and Super Cup.
And that's Casillas,
Ronaldo.
Messi, Ronaldo.
Ronaldo, Maldini, Casillas, Messi.
Whoa.
That's a tough one.
I want to say it's going to be Ronaldo, Maldini.
Final?
Maldini.
Nope, Ronaldo.
Ah! Is that how many? Did you say?
197 as
Okay.
of 2023.
Okay, 197. And the others? Does it also say how many they made?
Ronaldo. Definitely less.
Damn it.
All right, so we are 2-2 for now. Question number 4. So, who was the last player to score a golden goal in a World Cup? Laurent Blanc, Andreas Iniesta, Hakan Şükür, or Ronaldo 9?
In a World Cup.
Who was the last player to score a golden goal in a World Cup?
Oh my god.
Laurent Blanc, Andreas Iniesta, Hakan Şükür, or Ronaldo 9?
What is Hakan Şükür doing that this? I don't. It's not. Iniesta, you saw that?
Laurent Blanc,
I don't-
Iniesta, Şükür, or Ronaldo 9?
Laurent Blanc. It's gonna be what, 98 or something? I don't think that's it. R9. And Hakan Şükür. Let me go for Hakan Şükür.
You sure?
I'm going to go for it, yeah.
All right, it was Laurent Blanc. It was the game of France versus Paraguay, round of 16 in 1998. So
Yeah,
you did say
98.
98.
Yeah. But it was a trick question though, because Iniesta also scored a goal in 2006, 2010.
No.
So it says he scored a goal in a year, but
Oh yeah,
the goal
yeah.
was
Trick
taken
note:
away.
Andres Iniesta goal in 2010 was an extra time winner, not a
It
goal
was
that.
not a golden goal, but people.
So the rule was abolished in 2004. Alright, so the trick was nice to put in Hakan Şükür in there. Question 5. So that's your last chance to
Exactly, I need to win it.
To win that. Which CONCACAF nation was the first to reach the quarterfinals of a World Cup? USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, or Canada?
A quarter final.
Which CONCACAF nation was the first to reach the quarterfinal of a World Cup? USA, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Canada.
I want to say Mexico.
Final choice?
Mexico.
USA. Oh! 1930.
1930?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alright, I guess extra time.
Extra time.
That's a very tight one.
So we're gonna go like penalty shootout.
Penalty
You.
shootout.
So do we take 5 penalties first or is straight away miss?
These are your 5 penalties. You score 2, you score 2, you miss 3, you miss 3. I mean, theoretically, you're supposed to go one after the other, but this is how we're gonna do it now. So if I'm gonna ask you the first question, you're gonna answer the question, and then I'm gonna go to you. So if you get the answer wrong, you get it right, you win the penalty shootout. Okay. Also, the questions are.
But it's a multiple
There's
choice.
still multiple choice, but they're.
But that's not fair because if I out, then it's 1 out of 3 for him. Or you
No,
you
it's
ask
a-
another question.
It's a different question.
Okay.
So it's always different question towards the
All
person.
right.
So for you, which club won the first ever UEFA Europa League after it was rebranded from the UEFA Cup in 2009? Was it A, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, Shakhtar Donetsk, or Inter Milan?
And it's the UEFA.
It went from UEFA Europa League from the UEFA Cup in 2009.
That's who won the Europa League the first time?
Yes.
And it's Shakhtar Donetsk.
No. Atletico Madrid in 2010.
Alright, still 2-2.
So
Competing. Next.
who was the first goalkeeper to win the Ballon d'Or? Dino Zoff, Lev Yashin, Oliver Kahn, or Gordon Banks?
One more time the responses, please.
Dino Zoff, Lev Yashin, Oliver Kahn, or Gordon Banks?
Oh, I'm hesitating between two. Oliver Kahn.
Incorrect.
Dinosov.
Yeah, I knew it.
Yo, also,
Lev Yashin.
I have no idea what that guy is.
He's a Russian football player who won it in 1963, and he's the only goalkeeper to ever win it.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Okay, back to you. Which national team was the first to win back-to-back UEFA European Championships? Was it Germany, Spain, France, or the Netherlands?
Back-to-back.
European Championships. So the UEFA European.
I'm in doubt. France, Spain.
Netherlands or Germany?
Germany.
No, Spain. It was Germany or Spain. There was Germany or Spain. It was Spain in 2008 and in 2012. With the 2010 World Cup in between that as well.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say 2008, 2010.
Yeah.
All right.
C1.
Yes.
You get this one right, you win. How many teams competed in the first ever FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991?
How many?
How many teams competed in the first ever FIFA Women's World Cup in 1991? A, 12, B, 8, C, 10, or D, 16?
Just a guess. It's just a guess.
This question.
It's just a guess. If you win this, it's not even fair. But it's just a
either
guess.
8 or 12. That's for sure. 8.
Incorrect. It was 12.
12. Oh my god. That's so lucky.
Oh my god. Back to you, Dennis. Who holds the record for the fastest red card in Premier League history as of 2024? Is it A, Keith Jospy? B, Jean-Claire Todibo? C, Steven Gerrard? Or Dwight Tiendali?
As of 2024,
Yes.
I only know 2 players from that. I don't know the first 2. And it's in the Premier League.
In the Premier League, yes.
Okay.
History.
As of 2024, you said. When you said. I don't know. Tindali.
Steven Gerrard.
I knew it. Oh my god. I remember that game.
We can now, I'll ask you one more question. If you get this question wrong, we're going to, you can steal the
Rock, paper,
question.
scissors.
Yes. So you can steal the question, which means that if you are answering the question, but you're taking too much time, you can steal one time, which means you can answer the question if you want.
Okay.
But you can only do that once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can also do
So
that.
how much time do you get to answer?
5 seconds.
Okay.
For the next one, that's mine.
After yours, not this one. For the next one. Okay. This would have been. I think this would have been perfect for you to steal because it's you'll see. Which African country was the first to reach the quarterfinals of a FIFA World Cup? He knows.
Go for it. Give me the response.
Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, or Cameroon?
The first one to reach quarterfinal
Yes.
in the World Cup.
FIFA World Cup.
One more time the response, please.
Nigeria, Senegal, Ghana, or Cameroon?
I know either one or the other. Senegal.
No, Cameroon.
Oh my god, it was this one or this one.
Okay, this is the time where you can now jump in.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright.
It's still multiple choice, huh?
It's still multiple choice. And we have 4 more questions left. So if
If you don't get it right, I don't know my question. Just keep starting.
it's a shake hands, it's a bro. Okay. Dennis, what is the minimum number of players a team must have on the field to continue a match?
Oh, okay. Minimum. One team.
One team.
Minimum player.
You want me to give options?
I have options.
Yeah, I have options.
Yeah, but it's all gonna be close to one another. You know?
Exactly. It's 9, 8, 7, or 6.
Yeah, exactly.
9, 6, or 7.
No.
Those are the responses.
Should I tell you?
Yeah, there we go. 8.
Yes. Oh, close. It was 8.
I thought you could have 4 red cards.
You can have. That's, I think, that's a new regulation. According to FIFA's law of the game, a match cannot continue with fewer than 7 players. So the minimum number has to be 8.
But fewer than 7 players.
So 7 is not possible. Then 8 is the
But fewer than 7 is
Then
6.
theoretically 7 is correct because you're
7 is not
fewer than
7.
7. So I'll give you the answer is correct.
Correct.
All right, give
Correct.
Yeah, because fewer than 7 is...
Yes.
7 is not fewer than 7.
Exactly.
It's 7.
6 is fewer than 7.
Exactly.
Okay, so then after one, you have to get this one right.
And obviously now he's going to get that.
For the benefit of the doubt, should I give him a benefit or should I keep it?
No, go for
No,
it.
yeah.
This is me.
Which manager famously coined the term parking the bus to criticize an offensive style of play?
Okay, give me the responses.
Easy. What is
Even he's like, okay, that's easy.
Give me the responses.
A. Arsene Wenger, Jurgen Klopp, Jose Mourinho, or Pep Guardiola?
1, 2, 3.
Wenger.
Oh, no, he did not.
You did get it right.
It's Mourinho now.
Jose Mourinho. All right.
Oh,
That means that
the pressure got too much for him.
the Russian has too much.
But I thought you knew.
Yeah, I tripped. That's.
But what did you think when they asked the question?
yeah, it was for me. It was either Mourinho or Wenger.
I thought like when you asked the question straight away, we were like, oh yeah, Mourinho, I know.
It was either Mourinho or Wenger.
Good game.
It is what it is.
Good game.
At least extra time. 30-year-old. Thank you for your participation. I lose. All right, so we are reaching the end of the episode. It was a very fun game, very long extra time, but there is a winner. So congrats, Dennis. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Very nice to have you come from Belgium to this wonderful wood area.
It's nice here.
So before ending it here, can you share a message that you would like to provide to the youth of today on how they can pursue the best possible career in football?
Yeah, this. I think it's also like some often like cliches, but like for me the most important is just like try to enjoy it, I guess, because if you don't enjoy it, it's like it's not manageable to keep doing it and keep motivating yourself. I think the important thing is like the intrinsic motivation, I guess. Just enjoy the process. Don't try to chase something. For me, it was never about becoming a professional football player. I just like to play football. That's also why at a certain moment when I got cut, I'm just going back home and enjoy it. And then also like I did a lot of stuff outside of football, which I thought was like normal, but it's also because I didn't mind doing it, like going for runs in the woods and everything, because obviously I wanted to work, but I also enjoyed playing football and I wanted to be the best version of myself. But if I don't enjoy football, then I won't do all the extras. So yeah, just try to enjoy it, and like for the parents as well, leave your kids alone, I guess. Don't try to live your dream through your kids.
Yeah,
Obviously, me having kids now, and I see a lot of parents on next to the sign, and I'm like, okay, you need to take a chill pill and to relax. It's let kids be kids and just let them enjoy the game. Obviously, they need to take it serious when they're doing it, or like give it their all.
Yeah.
But like let them enjoy it.
Yeah. Great.
It sounds very cliche.
No, but fair point. I mean, key message for the youth: enjoy the process, have fun, and probably just focus on improving yourself on a day-to-day rather than looking at what's next.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, perfect way to end the podcast. So that's all for today on Beyond the Pulse. This is the final episode of season 1. So please stay tuned on your preferred platform because we will be coming back stronger and better for season 2. Goodbye, everyone.